This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines for Medved Trader platform trading training session. I'm your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Wednesday, the 7th of November, 2018, and I'm here for the next hour, a little over an hour. Going to kind of go through the Medved Trader platform and show you the Clear Lines indicator. If you have questions, you can write them in the chat box. And I do ask that you please keep your microphones muted. For those of you that are not currently subscribers to either Equity Alerts or Clear Lines, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank all of you for being here, but those of you that are not currently customers, I want to thank you. Some of this may be a little foreign to you, but hopefully you'll get a better understanding by the end of the hour. So just to give you a real quick synopsis, when I got word that WiseTrade was shutting down, I was fortunate enough to have already been working with a developer that had been with WiseTrade in the past, and he was able to help me create this indicator. We actually originally wrote it for TradeStation. And then as things kind of progressed and we figured that we could not write a standalone application in a very short period of time like we wanted to, we had to look at other options. And I was fortunate enough to be introduced to the guys at Medved Trader through Ally, because of Ally Invest's association with them. And we were able to take our indicator that basically was a replication with some variants of the WiseTrade algorithm and write it into to Medved as an indicator that is available through their platform. So Medved is a separate platform. It is a separate company, not associated with me. If you have an Ally Invest account and you're a customer of Ally Invest, you do get access to Medved Trader for free. There's no charge to use the platform. The platform integrates with a multitude of brokers, including Ally Invest, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, and Interactive Brokers. Those are the kind of the main. They are not integrated with Schwab or Merrill Lynch at this point. So if you have accounts with those brokers, you would either need an Ally account or an additional data feed. So the platform from Medved, again, if you have an Ally account, there is no additional charge. There's just my indicator fee, okay, my monthly fee. So for those of you that when you first get started and you actually just start the program for the very first time, and you're subscribing to my indicator, it is going to automatically open the very first time. It's going to automatically open with one of my layouts, which is actually this swing position layout. So it will start up on your computer when you go through the setup process. There's a few things you have to do through the process. You'll have to make sure that you set up your data and set up your trading account as well. Your data is what powers the software. So remember, those of you that used to use WiseTrade, it was powered by WiseFeed, which was our own data feed. Back in years ago, it was powered by eSignal. And so this is kind of a similar process. You have to configure your data source, but that's part of the beginning startup process. So you can see for me, I have 3 different data sources because I have 3 different brokerage accounts where I can get quotes. I have an Ally Invest account. I have an Ally for MBT, which is the old MB trading account. And then I have a TD Ameritrade account. So I primarily get my quotes from TD Ameritrade because I get futures data with them. Whoops. You can see I have futures, which Ally does not provide. So there's your data sources, and that's, again, part of the initial setup process. But if you have multiple trading accounts, you can set it up to receive data from any one of those accounts. This is the list of all of the brokers and data feed providers that they are integrated with, that you can work with. So you can see E-Trade, if you trade Gain Capital futures, Interactive Brokers, for those of you that trade futures or Forex or equities through Interactive. Canadians, we have Questrade, Royal Bank of Canada is integrated with them. And what did I miss? Obviously, you can see there's a handful of others, some international brokers, some cryptocurrency brokers. Okay, so this is where you get your data. Now, if you don't have one of the integrated brokers, then you'll probably get data from Stockwatch. It's a third-party data feed provider that so some of my Canadian customers utilize Stockwatch. It's $20-odd a month for real-time quotes. You also have to set up your trading account if you want to trade directly through the software. So you can see I have my TD Ameritrade account, my cash account, and my IRA. I have my Ally Invest account. I have multiple Ally Invest, and I'm sorry, the Ally MBT, and then I have an Ally Invest account. All right, and these are your brokers that you actually would trade through. These are your trading accounts. So the listing, these are the brokers just for trading. So Ally Invest, Ally MBT. There's some cryptocurrency. There's a couple Italian brokers: E-Trade, Gain Capital Futures, Interactive, Questrade, Rhythmic, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, and Tradier. They're all integrated with the Medved Trader platform. So Medved is more like a traditional trading platform. So it's not a single standalone window. Each one of these boxes is a separate window, but you can control all of them using this little minimize all. And there's a button on each one of these up at the top, which are the portfolios. So if I click that, it's going to minimize the whole set of windows. And then I go down to my dashboard and click on the icon for Medved and to open them back up. So the first thing you'll notice is that the charts, the preset layouts, which if you go to the layout library, click on File and Layout Library, these are preset layouts, both that Medved has created and that I created. These are my two preset layouts. I set these up specifically for those of you that like the traditional 8 interval layout from WiseTrade. You want to be able to see the 8 intervals. So you can use either the swing or the active layout, and if you double click either one, it'll automatically open that up for you again and set it up on your desktop. And it should everything should fit to your screen resolution. Now, if you have a type of resolution where things are big, like they appear bigger, you may have a hard time seeing certain aspects of the charts, and it may be easier to change to a different type of view, which I will show you guys in a moment. But with Medved, there are 2 types of charts. There is a historical chart, which is the long, mid, and short. These are historical charts. And then there are intraday charts, which are the minute intervals, all of which are customizable. So the historical chart, again, this is the long-term trend, and it's a 50 interval or 50 bar view. So this goes back to 2014. So it's the last 4 years on Amazon. You can see my red and green lines, and you can see pretty clearly that Amazon was in a big uptrend for an extended period of time. Now, if you want to focus on one chart, you can click the maximize button and it'll take cover your entire page. That does make it a lot easier to see everything. But again, very clearly, big uptrend, big multi-year uptrend. Volume bars overlaid. You'll notice one thing different about my charts. They have these little arrows. When a lines cross over and commit, meaning if I get a crossover and then the interval closes, then you'll get an arrow showing a change in trend direction. They are pretty good visuals to help you determine when you've got a solid up or down trend. Very clear picture. The Medved platform does allow you to go back further in time, so I can go to 100 interval view and see back to 2010. I could go back. I don't know if I can go back to 2002 on a 200 interval view. So that was something that you could not do with the WiseTrade software. You have the ability to look way, 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 way back. Okay, if you like to see that far back. um, um, so again, so we've got a long-term trend, a midterm weekly chart, and a short-term daily chart. And then we have our minutes, 130 minute, a 60, a 30, a 10, and a 2. And those are the traditional swing trade settings, swing position trade settings that we had on the old WiseTrade software. Now, a couple more components. Up the upper left, this is your, these are called portfolios or watch lists, okay? And I have two different ones. One is specifically an index window. So you have the ability to set up what's called an index panel. And so I have the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P along with the VIX. If I stretch this down, there's actually some more information underneath, but this is really all I need it for, is just to see the indexes. And it's also my access point to the file button, file to restart the program or to exit, or to access other layouts. If we want to look at a different layout, we can do that from here. Okay. The other window next to it is the portfolio window or the watch list. Okay. This is similar to what would have been your basket. Okay. So on the old WiseTrade software, you could watch up to 25 stocks scrolling through 5 at a time. This one, you can watch up to whatever your limitation is based on your data feed or your broker, your symbol limit. Some brokers, I think it's either 200 or 500 symbol limit. I can't remember the actual limits for Ally. But if I want to add symbols to the list, I have the ability to type them in this window, and I can just start adding additional symbols to go on this watch list. Or I can create other watch lists, like I have the NASDAQ 100 watch list. So if I want to view that watch list, I go to my little drop-down menu. I go to the NASDAQ 100. All right, now this is in a different format. I can change the format, the view. If I want to view it like I had the other view, I can go to what's called the tile simple 2, and now I can view it in this format, and I can scroll through and look at all of the symbols in the NASDAQ 100. Now, if I want to view a single stock, all I have to do is left click on the button and it'll load it onto my charts. You'll notice all the charts have a blue thumbtack or link. They're all linked together. So you'll notice the thumbtack is here as well. The reason for that is that when I'm clicking, and I'm actually going to go to a different layout. I'm going to go to my pre-done. Hold on. clear line swing position. Okay. Okay. So you'll notice that I just lost my train of thought. So anytime I click on any of these, they'll automatically load up onto the screen. Hold on one second. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I have somebody saying they can't hear. Yes. Okay. So hold on. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. I just had to send somebody a message. Okay. So for those of you that like the quick view and you want to be able to look at all 8 time frames, you would build your basket or your watch list of the stocks you like to follow, and then you can just scroll through. This is great for those of you that you have a basket of stocks you like to trade over and over, and you want to keep an eye on the trends, the long, the mid, and the short, and you want to see what's going on intraday. Now, for me, a lot of times I want to see things a little bit bigger. I don't, the smaller windows are okay, but I prefer something with, this is what I use in the morning. I use what's called a 2-chart layout. Now, there's 2 ways I can do this. I can take this layout and I can just modify it by closing a couple of the windows here, and I'm going to show you. All right. I'm going to keep it one historical chart because that's my long, mid, and short, and I'm going to stretch that down to right here. And then I'm going to take one of my minute time frames and I'm going to stretch it. So what I've done is I've now created a 2-chart layout. So one on the right will be a historical, and I can easily switch between the long, the mid, and the short by using, this is a quick access toolbar. So I can either go to main and then switch from main, or if I have my quick access toolbar, this is one of the other great features of the Medved. Pretty much any button or switch you can add to a toolbar. You can right click and add to the quick access toolbar. Anything that you use frequently, you want to add to your quick access toolbar. Well, here's the other thing. If you got your windows small, it's harder to see all this. So if I go back to my other layout, you'll notice, there's extra stuff. You don't get to see it as clearly. So by having a bigger window on my 2-chart layout, now I clearly see everything on my toolbar. Okay. So same thing on the left window, it is my intraday. So these are my minute time frames. I can quickly scan through whatever preset time frames there are, 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 30. Okay, these are all preset time frames. Or I can create a custom time frame, but I have to change it every time. One of the cool features about the Medved platform is I can create a half minute, a 0.5 minute. So those of you that are like me, that you like to trade hyperactively, you can view in a half minute or a quarter minute. You can make it a quarter minute if you want. All right, for some of you, that's probably a little too quick. But here's a great example. Amazon this morning on a 3-minute gave you an up arrow, gave you another up arrow, got a pullback. Then it gave another up arrow, another up arrow, another up arrow. So when you get additional up arrows, those could be positions, places to add. A reversal, exit, green arrow up, get long. All right. You follow one of the bigger time frames, and then to give you the trend view, and then you use your intraday for your timing your entries and exits. One of the other great features about Medved that you could not do with WiseTrade is that you have the ability to view pre-market data. So certain charts I leave it on never, that I don't, and some charts I do current day, or you can do always. Always is going to give you all pre and post market data. So you can see Amazon after hours went up a little bit higher and then started to come down, right? So it's still in the after hours right now. By the way, you'll notice two boxes on my chart. This box right here, this is the interval data box. This was similar to the box on WiseTrade that was on the bottom left side of your page. When you scrolled across the chart, it gave you the data for each interval, each time frame. And then the box next to my cursor, the white one, that's what is giving me the current data, the bid, the ask, the last, the high, low, the change, the percent, the volume. So that's the box that was basically up on the upper left side of the chart on to the left outer part of your old WiseTrade chart. This one is internal, and it's actually something you have to add in the settings to turn it on or off. It is considered the, it is called under chart settings, it is the show hover price tooltip, show hover price tooltip, okay? That's the hover price tooltip. So, so you can see pre-market and post-market. So if I scroll backwards, you can see pre-market. So one of the other cool features, again, the big difference between Medved and the older WiseTrade platform, you have a scroll back feature. You didn't have that. You can scroll back for days at a time, multiple days, to see what was going on in history. I mean, you can go way, 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 way. I mean, that's all the way back to August. It's all there. All right. You can also, grabbing this little slide bar on the bottom, and you'll know if your history, if you see red around the bottom, circle in red, outlined in red, it means you're not at the current time. You have to scroll to the far right for that red to go away. You can also adjust, you can squeeze in and squeeze out and squeeze in. So you can go, if you want to see all that data or you want to shrink it back, and it'll tell you how many bars you're viewing. That's 2,098 bars, right? There's 2 bars, 376, 5,800. So you can adjust how many bars or how many time frames you view by sliding that back and forth. So if I want to see what happened all of today, that's pretty much all of today. 238 bars would have been most of the pre-market. Hold on. There you go. That was pretty much the pre-market, the regular market, and the after hours. You can view that if you want to see it. You can also switch right back to whatever you're most comfortable with. If you want a 50 interval or a 100 interval. So Don has a question. He says, can I paper trade with Medved? Unfortunately, so the answer is yes and no. Think of Medved as a intermediary between a broker and you. Okay, they're an intermediary. So Medved itself does not provide data, does not provide quotes, does not provide the ability to trade. Okay, it's just a platform that gives you the ability to view indicators and to view data from stocks based on who you subscribe to that data from. It could be a broker or it could be a data feed provider. So if the broker has paper trading, then you would have access to that. The only broker that gives you access to that, there's 2 of them. I believe Interactive Brokers has a paper trading account. And if you have an original Ally MB trading account, it has to be the Ally MB trading. You can do paper trading. If you just have an Ally Invest or an E-Trade or an Ameritrade, you do not have the ability to paper trade. TD Ameritrade does, but only on their platform, the whatever it's called. I can't think of the name of it, but they don't give you the ability to paper trade on, even though they're integrated into TD Ameritrade is integrated through Medved. You can't paper trade. It's only on their what do they call it? I have it. I can't remember the name. Thinkorswim platform. Thinkorswim. So you would just have to paper trade the traditional method, which is write it down on a piece of paper. You know, your entries and your exit. I mean, that's the old school way. You just have to write it down. If you have an original MB trading account that's still actively open and funded, and you can access that account through Medved, and you can paper trade. And then again, I believe through Interactive Brokers, you should have the ability to paper trade as well. So speaking of trading, I'm glad you asked the question now that we're on that subject. Let's talk about that. So as I showed you, Medved is integrated into multiple brokers, right? So I can chart trade through Medved. So I can either go to my broker through I can access through my account view right here. I can access one of my accounts, or I can, if I set up chart trading, which there's enable chart trading right here, then I can select which account I want to trade through on each chart. I can trade in multiple accounts on multiple charts. All right, if I want to. I just keep one account set up. So to do that, all you have to do is either right click on the chart. So if I wanted to sell short Facebook right now, I'm going to put, and I'm in a demo account right now, so I'm going to click limit. So I click the order type, market, limit, stop, or bracket. Since we're after hours, you can only do limit. So I can select limit, and then if I want to short Facebook, I click sell. Now this is a button that I added. So I would go here to the trading tab and then click sell, or I added that to my quick access toolbar, or I can right click, there's a lot of ways to do this, and click sell. So we'll do it from here. So what that does is that's going to open up a capsule. Now I can move this capsule up and down on the chart to figure out where I want to set my limit order. So if I want to set my limit order up above the current market, because I want to see if it comes to me to short Facebook, so I can set it there, or if I don't like that price, I can double click on the price and scroll up and down, click the button to modify the price. I can modify the quantity if I want to only do 250 shares. So if I'm happy here, then I can click where it says send order to broker. All right. So now I have an order that's sitting out there with the broker waiting to get executed. Well, obviously I'm currently above the market. I'm not going to get executed currently. So if I'm like, well, dang it, I want to get in Facebook now. So obviously it's pre-mark, it's after hours. I can only do that on a limit order. Well, if I put my price at the bid, I'm going to get filled because it will fill it automatically at that point. Remember, you buy the bid, sell the ask. So if I can move it and modify it. If I click the modify, guess what? I just got filled at 151.40. So now you can see I'm in a position. I'm minus 250 shares because I shorted. It shows I'm down $30, obviously because of the spread, and it just moved up. And it shows my entry price. So now I can set a stop. So then I click stop. Well, It's after hours, so I can only limit in and limit out. So I can't technically do a stop after hours. But if it wasn't after hours, I could set my stop up at wherever I wanted to set it and then click the send order to set the stop. It probably won't let me right now because we're after hours. Yeah, see, not accepted during this session because you can't set stops after hours. But if it was regular trading hours, I could do that and then set it, and then I could adjust my stop by moving it. So let me do this again. Buy. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to, this is what's called staging an order. So I can select where I want my stop to be. I can move it up and down. You know, if I want my stop way higher. And then once I'm ready to execute the order, then I click the checkbox. Or I can change. This is kind of cool. I can move the window. I can change the price. I can scroll my mouse. I have a scrolling ball on my mouse to move the price. I can change the number of shares if I only want to stop on 200 shares. So there's a lot of functionality with the Medved platform. It's a little bit of a learning curve. It's different, but we talk about it and we show it, and I have a lot of videos on YouTube that go through it. But if you have questions, I'm always happy to ask. And if you need one-on-one assistance, I'm also there. By the way, I do want to let you guys know that are currently not using the Clear Lines. If you're new and you're thinking about subscribing to Clear Lines, one of the things that because I'm still a small company and I'm a jack of all trades, I offer to my new customers support. If you need help installing it, getting it set up on your computer, I will remote log in using TeamViewer or my GoToMeeting, and I will help you get it set up and set up your layout and kind of go through some of the buttons. And I'll give you an hour of my time. I don't mind doing that. If you need help after the fact, you can get me by phone or email, and you know, I'm here for you guys. And I will continue to do that until I get to a point where I have to hire a full-time support person. But for now, I'm small enough to where I can do it myself, and I do those typically in the afternoon. But that is a part of what you get when you subscribe. All right, so if I want to exit my trade now, I have to get out on a limit order. So I'm going to set a limit, and that would be a buy. And so currently the ask is at 53. So now I could set it here at 52 and see if I get filled, which it may take some time. So I've got a limit right now at 52. I'm obviously going to lose 12 cents here. So Elaine wanted to know, can the number of shares in a trade be preset to a set number? Yes, actually mine are preset. So you see, oops, hold on. I think mine's set to 300. So there is in the settings. So under settings, under accounts, you have right here. So depending on which account you're logged into, you have the ability to set your quantity, the number of shares. You can also set your order types, and also depends on what you're trading, but stocks, price, orders, you can set your default order type to be a market order, good to cancel. But yeah, you can preset the orders. And then you can also change them if you need to on the fly as well. You can just click up and down. I do that pretty quickly. But yes, good question. And you can set it different for different accounts. So if you have multiple accounts, so if you have one, let's say one of your accounts, you have a lot more money in it and you trade bigger, you can set that to, you know, if you like to default 1,000 shares, or if you have a smaller account, or maybe it's a retirement account, you trade smaller shares, then you can default that to a smaller number of shares. But yeah, yes, you can do that. That's not a problem. So any other questions about chart trading? What's the difference between demo and paper? Same thing, depends on the demo account or paper trade account, same thing. This is a paper trader demo account. This is an MB demo account that I'm using. Ally MB trading demo account. Obviously, I would not want to do this in a live account showing you guys after hours. So you can see I have not been filled yet. So if I move my price up a penny and then I modify it, then I get filled because that's where the ask was. Kip, I lost my watch list. Can you show me how to get it back? Did you lose the list or like you can go to open a portfolio and figure out which one it was. See these two that are checked? My index watch list and my popper dropper. So you can go here and then find which one it is and open it. So like here, let me show you. I'm going to close this one down. Okay, this is my popper dropper watch list. So all I have to do is go to the settings, go to open a portfolio, and see right here, popper dropper watch list. I click it and then it opens it back up. So that's one way to get it. I will be posting this later when it's over to our YouTube page. So you can go to equity-alerts.com. At the top here, you'll see a link to YouTube. If you click that, that'll take you to our page and you'll see it'll be called Clear Lines Training. Okay, and you'll see today's session posted here. If you have interest in subscribing to Clear Lines, you can click the Clear Lines tab on our webpage, and there's information on it, as well as where to get registered, monthly Clear Lines, or if you're interested in our Clear Lines and our webinar. I don't give a free trial, guys, on the Clear Lines, just because of the time that I take to get you set up and get involved with it. You need to take the 30 days and get a feel for it anyways. We do give a free trial if you're interested in just seeing the alerts for 3 days, see what we do and watch us using the software. But again, you know, the software has a lot of functionality, and let me show you, and I do want to spend a little more time with the platform just so you can see a few things. As far as, you know, watching intraday. Now typically intraday I do use candlesticks as well. I have the ability to turn them on or off. If I hit the hide primary chart button or go here to to view options, I can show or hide the candlesticks. For those of you that like candlesticks, that's again, that's another feature that you could not do on the WiseTrade software. Actually, let me go back to my 2-chart layout because it's a little easier to see. So I do want to show you some of the other features that you can do that you couldn't do on WiseTrade. So this is a 3-minute interval. And if you want to, again, see the price charts, you can see the price charts, the candlesticks, and go to a 1-minute time frame. And let's go so we can see the full day. Whoops. Okay, so that's the whole trading day on a 1-minute time frame. Whoops, hold on. That's the whole day on a 1-minute time frame. So it's probably easier to see without the candlesticks. just because there's 400 bars. But I wanted to show you that you could do that. A couple of the other things, I'm going to go back to like 100 bars. A couple other things you'll notice is that we have other indicators on the charts. So Medved has integration, obviously, with all types of indicators. Clear lines is a indicator right here. It's an indicator. The clear lines is an indicator. So if you went and subscribed and downloaded Medved right now, you would see this on there, but it would have a lock next to it. You would not be able to access it because you would be locked out since you're not a subscriber, for those of you that don't have access. Okay, but I have pivot points on my chart because I like pivot, and I also have volume overlaid. So that's another cool feature. Like WiseTrade, you used to have volume bars on the charts. This does the same thing. It also, when the market's open, you see this little boxed, it's an estimator. It does this estimation of how the volume is actually pacing to build. But for those of you that use technical indicators, there are a full list of them: stochastics, MACDs. You know, one of the other ones that we like to use, that we've started using, is VWAP. That is volume weighted average price. And the reason we like to use it is because stocks have a tendency to gravitate back towards the volume weighted average price. So when you're looking at intraday, a support or resistance level, or you're looking at somewhere to, so here's a great example with Facebook. So let's say I was watching Facebook earlier today, and by the way, you can also draw lines on the charts. So let's say I saw this double bottom earlier today, and it dropped, came down, hit a double bottom, and then I get this little up arrow, confirmation of a turn back up. Well, I'm looking at the chart and I'm like going, where could this go? What is my potential? Because if I'm looking, hold on, if I'm looking at it when it was right here, okay, this was my double bottom, I didn't know where it was headed, right? But I saw two things that clued me in. I saw R1 right here, and I saw the volume weighted average price. They were pretty close to each other. So if I'm trying to figure out risk to reward, guess what? There's a good chance it's going to gravitate here because I got a confluence of VWAP and the R1. Now, if I was also using Fibonacci, which we tend to do, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually minimize that window. I'm going to create another window. I'm going to add a new chart, same as this chart. I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to make it a 15-minute, okay? So on the 15-minute time frame, okay, for those of you that like to do Fibonacci, I can draw the first 15-minute Fib levels, okay? Well, guess what? So now, let me stretch this one back out. Now, going back to, remember down here, we were looking at it getting long. If I saw down here that there was a potential to get long off a double bottom, and it actually bounced off the 2618, and I saw a combination of VWAP 127 and then above that R1. I had a huge magnet that could have brought it up to this level. Does that make sense? Hold on. Right here, right? So I saw a double bottom even though it did go a little bit lower, and it tested this 2618. But when I was trying to figure out what's my reward potential, well, way up here was my reward potential because I had a confluence of three different things happening. I had the R1, the 127 in the first 15 minute, and I had the VWAP. Now I got to figure out how to erase. Oh, here we go. Right? So by utilizing the tools within Medved and using my clear lines, I clearly could see I had my double bottom on my clear lines. I had a arrow up to confirm the up cycle. And I had profit targets. I actually had a first target here at the 200, which it did pull back from. Excuse me, I need a drink of tea. But then guess what? I didn't get a reversal area arrow again until it hit those levels and reversed. Now, I do want to show you when you click the candles, the candles will go further than they'll go beyond the pressure charts, because this is based on buying and selling momentum, buying and selling pressure. It's not a true price chart. So it can be a little deceptive when you see the price chart behind it or the candlestick behind it, because the candles can go well beyond the red and green lines because they're based on different factors. But that was a really good example. Let's look at one other stock real quick. Here's Alibaba. And let's go to my 15-minute chart. And let's do the same thing this morning. Oh, hold on. Is that hold on, I can't figure out the top of the candle. That's weird. The top of the candle is right there. Hold on. It looks like it's there. Okay. So again, going back to now my 3-minute chart, using a combination of the clear lines. Actually, you could have just been watching clear lines with your fib levels, and look what happened. It came right down to the 1618. It curved back up, gave you an up arrow, and then went from roughly 149.50, 75 range to 150s. It gave you a pretty nice run back to the upside. So you can use a combination. Plus, look where VWAP was, way up here. So you knew you had, this is the magnet. Interestingly, look how it magnetized itself middle of the day. It kind of kept coming, crisscrossing through that volume weighted average price. And then it broke out. And look at this. This was a 786. So had you been watching this, look how it kept bouncing across that on the 3-minute, bounce, 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 and then finally took off. And it took off when it broke that VWAP through it, and there was a big up run at the end of the day. So there's some real power to using the clear lines, and then if you can additionally use some of the other indicators with it, that can definitely help you and more accurately find your profit targets and where to set your stops. So I've got about 5 minutes or so to go. I do want to take a few minutes to answer any questions that you guys might have. I know I've covered quite a bit, But any specific questions about Medved, about clear lines, about equity alerts, um, anything else you guys have, please, this is your opportunity to ask. And you can ask through the chat box. There is I'll tell you, there's a lot to the Medved platform. A couple things, they have help. You can get help. They have a very thorough tutorial if you have questions and want to know certain aspects of the platform. There are things I haven't even figured out yet. I want to show you something else that's really cool. You have the ability to set alerts. There's actually there's something called a alert line. So if I draw the line on the chart, if it crosses the line, it'll pop up an alert. So that line is attached to a price. Okay. It's called a cross trend line down. So if it crosses below that, then I'll get a pop-up alert, or I can play a sound. It'll alert you. It's a really cool feature. Again, the platform is extremely powerful. There's a lot of things that it does. You can create a multitude of layouts. Like I said, I've got a ton of different layouts that I've created, but I pretty much use two. I use this in the pre-market to show people the stocks that we're reviewing for the day, and then pretty much I stick with my popper dropper layout through most of the day because I can watch two stocks simultaneously. The top row is linked in to my watch list. The bottom row, I just type on the chart to enter the symbol, and it is not linked above. But so you do have the ability to watch more than one stock at a time. It just, your kind of only limitation is based on your screen. And again, to load a symbol, you either click, if it's tied to a watch list, you click on the symbol on the watch list, or you just on the chart, you left click once, and then you start typing on the chart, and this little box will open to enter the symbol. You can also go to add indicators, and if you want to compare a symbol, you can compare two symbols at the same time. Some people like to do that. Software does that as well. I mean, there's all kinds of features, indicators, lots of different things you can draw, Fibonacci, expansions, fans, time zones, pitchforks. You can chart trade. What else? Under settings, whoops. On the dashboard, you can access your trade tickets. You can access your accounts. You can access your portfolios. Portfolios are basically watch lists where you create lists or baskets. This is the data sources that I'm using. Yeah, Don. Unfortunately, it is not integrated with Fidelity. That's another broker that are not integrated. So for those of you that have brokerage accounts with Fidelity or Schwab, and you're married to them, and you don't want to trade with anybody else, I understand that. Okay, I'm not going to be offended by that. But if you really want to utilize the system, here's your two choices. Okay, you got a couple choices. Whoops, did I just do that? Dang it. I accidentally saved it as my two chart layout. All right, I'll have to get that back. Okay, I know what I have to do. I'll have to do it later. So um, hold on one second. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Okay, let me see if this just worked. I hope it does. Yeah, I'm using a backup. So you can you would have to subscribe to Medved, so it's free for 30 days, and then it's $20 a month, and you would have to pay for data. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got it back. Tricky Kipp. So you would, and let me just go to the web page so you can see. Okay, so you would, if you don't have an Ally Invest account, you're going to have to pay the $19.99 a month after 30 days. Okay. If you're integrated with one of these brokers, you can get data through the broker. If you've got Fidelity or Schwab, you're going to need both data and you're going to need the platform. So that's an additional $40 a month. My suggestion is to just fund an account at Ally Invest, throw $1,000 in there. You don't have to use it. I mean, you got to log into it periodically, but you use that for your data. They'll charge you $7.50 a month if you're not making trades in the account, okay, for quotes. Well, that's cheaper than $42, $43 a month for the access to Medved and to the data. So Ally will give you the Medved platform. They'll give you access to it, and they'll provide you with your quotes. So that way you'll save yourself $30 a month, $35 a month, and you'll pay the $750 plus my indicator fee, which is $59 a month. If you just want the clear lines. If you're interested in the full package, it's $129 a month. That's the alerts with the clear lines. That's our full package, $129 a month. Or if you pay annually, you pay for 12 months, you get your 13th month for free. So it's $708 for clear lines only for 13 months, or $1548 for 13 months of the full package. But you know, it's a little bit more of a pain for those that don't have one of the integrated brokers, or that don't have an Ally account. But it's still a great tool to use, and I think you know, it's either way, it's worth the investment. So yeah, if you subscribe to Stockwatch, then you can load the symbols in. That'll provide your quotes. But you'll pay for Stockwatch, which is $20 a month, and you'll pay Medved, like I said. So you're better off just opening up an account with Ally. As Christopher want to know, is there a discount for Ally members? The discount basically is, if you have an Ally account, you get the Medved platform for free. You don't pay the $20 a month to Medved. That's the discount. I think for what I provide everybody, you know, I'm providing ongoing support. Um, it's a powerful platform. It's worth every penny. Anyway, any more questions? Any more questions? I want to again thank you guys for coming in today. Thank you for checking us out. Um, for those that don't know, you know, my partners at Equity Alerts, and I'm an owner of Equity Alerts. I'm one of the owners in the company. My partners are Jim Chanel and Lindsay Perry. You probably remember Lindsay, the Mataket kid. He used to be both Lindsay and Jim were former Wise Trade customers. They've been long time friends of mine, and they're my partners in Equity Alerts. We also have Stephen Bilby as one of our contributors. He comes on an hour a day. They're my partners in Equity Alerts, and then I have two other partners in my Clear Lines. I have a software developer, used to work for Wise Trade, and I have a trader slash developer of indicators as another partner. We have other projects that we work on. We're developing some other indicators, and we're developing some automation for ourselves. So, but that's what I've got, guys. And again, if you're interested, you're welcome to email me at Kipp at equity-alerts.com, Kipp at equity-alerts.com. If you have any questions, again, if you're interested in signing up, let me know. You can register for the Clear Lines on the Equity Alerts website. And again, thank you guys very much. And those of you that are already customers, thank you as well. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone.